Hello, hello, hello.
Whoa! Hey,
I don't know what my right hand is doing.
Hold up. We about to transition this. Booyah!
There's the intro. We'll describe who this weird person is in the middle
welcome to the KingSmith podcast. It's been a little bit, guys.
Yeah. With your hosts, I'm Zach.
I'm the subscribe button right now. There we
That's
go.
Nathan.
Yeah.
The subscribe button is Nathan. And now we are joined by a friend of the show, Timothy Ulrich.
Hello, hello.
He's been here before, guys. You all know who he is.
If you want to go listen to that episode, go back to season 1, which we need to put back on we need to put on YouTube because we keep forgetting.
Well,
It's still on Spotify.
It's still on Spotify.
We need to. We are in the middle of transitioning all of our season 1 stuff to YouTube right now.
So yeah, we're getting there, guys.
It's gonna take some time.
Anyway,
So, Zach, what little bits of fun did we have this afternoon here with Tim?
well, we got some lunch, which was
We did get some lunch. We
which
had
is always good.
Zaxby's. Shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Zaxby's is awesome. If you want to sponsor
Also-
Zaxby's,
Yeah, I was about to say, like, they didn't actually sponsor us. So
not hashtag not
But if they
sponsored.
want to.
But if they wanted
if
to,
anybody would like to sponsor us, I would be very happy about
yeah,
that.
we would both be very happy about that. But for all you like non-business people, we have Patreons linked down below.
Patreons, Spotify's, all of that. Yes, we know we have to get the last few episodes on the Spotify.
We're working on
We're
it.
slow, okay? It's all right.
By we mean we.
Yeah, it is a we. There's multiple people.
The we's over there, dude. Why do you keep talking about it? But
See,
anyway,
now Nintendo's gonna be like,
no.
Demonetized.
Also a bit of exciting news, Nathan.
yes,
I got the webcam and for my PC.
yes, you did.
So NFL 101 and Nerd Herd, as we're calling it,
Nerd,
a reference to the TV show
Chuck, our favorite TV show.
Your favorite TV show.
Oh,
I'm
it's
still
both
debating
of
it.
ours.
No, it's yours. Don't assume, child.
I don't assume.
But it is a
I
reference.
know.
But it,
Oh, yeah.
this is what I have to deal with. This is why I crust your buns all the time.
I know.
You deserve it.
I know.
But anyway, so yes, that will be going live sometime within the next week or two.
Yeah.
Depending on when we record, when we edit, and
Exactly.
when we decide to put up. All right, Nathan.
Yes, Zach.
What did we do while we were eating lunch with Tim, our friend here?
We watched the Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is what our topic of conversation is going to be today.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Fantastic movie. Very serious.
Very, very serious, except for that one like random token Disney love song that
We'll get to it.
We'll get there.
well, they just sandwich in there.
Hey, it was just one day out there.
Right.
You live with this?
Yeah, unfortunately, and I can't get out of it. I signed up for it.
Yeah, you signed a
But
contract.
you signed up for it too, so
I
get
know.
over it.
It's okay. Hey, just so you guys know, Tim is also one of my employees down at the security department. So, well, we were coworkers first. Now, you're the only person now that was actually coworkers with me in the department before I took over.
That's true.
Yeah.
It wasn't for very long. It was like 1 or 2 weeks at most.
No. It was a couple months. I
It
think.
was a
Was
couple
it?
months.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. No,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess Jacob
Yeah.
was there.
Jake was still
I
there
mean-
for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, technically speaking, we all were coworkers because we all worked for Calvary, but
Well, that,
for
okay.
different departments.
Yeah, you
Technically
were different,
speaking.
Different
department.
departments,
I-
different hierarchies.
See,
Yeah,
I
you-
started in the security department, and then I was also an RDL, so I was part of the dean's department, and I was security.
You-
And then when I was done being an RDL, I became basically a security guard for
Life.
like a year. No, I was a security guard still after graduating, but
Right.
I went to youth ministry. But then last summer was when I became the boss. So
That was fun.
it's been a ride. It's been
Yeah.
fun. I will say that.
I just did the dishes. I can't talk too much.
Hey, you did that was an important piece though.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, I'm a legend. By the way,
This is This is true. I'm friends with enough of the
Yeah.
dishwashers that I hear stories.
They all talk about how.
I went down. What was it? I went down for Koji, and one of the
Yeah.
students was like, "I have heard your name before." Oh right, Joe talks about you all the time. I was just like, Joe's was my boss in the kitchen down in
Little
Calvary.
Joe's Kitchen.
Oh, Joey.
And apparently
Great
I'm a legend.
cookies.
He does make some good cookies.
Those cookies are amazing.
Anyways, back on track here. So
We get off track
this
all
is
the
going to
freaking
happen
time.
a lot,
It's-
guys.
Oh,
We're 5 minutes in and we haven't even talked about it
before
yet.
we get into like actually talking
Oh,
about the
my word.
movie. I'm gonna sidetrack us one more time, then we're done. You may be noticing I'm wearing a shirt of a particular band.
Oh,
It's
Yeah,
got-
we're going tonight.
We are going tonight. It's gonna be fun.
So excited.
What time is that tonight?
8:30.
8:30.
Okay, that's right, because we're meeting at the Ameristar at 7:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. So there might be a couple shorts that come out at,
We might be going insane.
Just a little.
but
Those of us who aren't insane already. That is.
No,
It's a-
we're already. All three of us are already off the deep end, bro.
For sure.
we've gone to La La Land and made a home there.
All right.
All right.
Anyways,
Wrong movie. Right.
Wrong
Anyway,
movie, but
back to the whole point of this. Hunchback of Notre Dame.
back to the actual like
what we're
movie.
actually doing.
Yeah.
Our audience is used to it by
Our
this
audience
point.
is probably like, "What are they talking about?" Hi, mom. By the way.
Hi, adopted mom. How are you?
Hello, Mrs. Smith. I've seen you in the comment section because I also tend to watch these guys.
This is our
I
friend
think I
Tim.
know.
Thank you, Tim, for being our only dedicated
Like-
viewer.
Like consistent viewer. You're the only one that's like consistently here besides Nathan's mom.
I try.
You're not wrong.
Which, by the way, if you're watching this, share this with your friends.
Share it. Put it on social media. This is obviously the most well-organized podcast you've ever watched.
Obviously.
Obviously.
We didn't just set all the mics up and everything
Right.
just to, with a
Just-
plan and everything. We
you
didn't.
were-
No.
No, of course.
Doesn't
Okay, we should actually probably maybe get on track here.
Okay. Where do we want to start? With
So,
Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Oh.
oh,
Okay, so let's start with the whole spiritual background of the whole thing. The religious background maybe is the better
the
term.
religious background.
Okay, so very obviously Catholic in nature.
Catholic, yeah.
Very Catholic in
Because when they say the Hunchback of Notre Dame, they're talking about the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris.
Right.
So they're actually talking about the cathedral, and it's like
Which,
it's,
by the way, actually burned a little bit a few years ago.
That's true. I remember.
it burned a little
I
bit in
was
the
watching
movie.
See, was the movie prophetic? I'm kidding. That was a joke.
Okay,
Pentecostal.
You just see Quasimodo swinging around.
just like whooping and hollering like Tarzan all the time. It's like, hey, that's racist.
No, it's not.
I can claim it, dum dum.
Sure, fine, whatever. So, but the religious background behind it is very, very much in the Catholic,
It's
it's
set during like the
1500s.
it's set like the late 1400s, early 1500s.
Okay.
Probably skewing more towards the early 1500s. So very much during the Middle Ages, the Dark Ages, whatever you want to call them.
Right.
So this is a time when the Catholic Church's power was probably at its
At its peak.
at its apex.
It was at a very high peak. So we had some discussion about Frollo. Frollo's the bad guy, in case you guys
He's the
don't
villain
know.
of the movie.
So,
Which, by the way, go watch the movie.
yeah, if you haven't watched the movie, stop. Spoiler alert from here on out.
Spoilers.
For sure.
But okay, so what was Frollo's actual position, guys?
He was a judge
Okay.
in the movie.
In the movie.
In the movie, in the original source material, which is a novel, and in the musical,
Stage musical.
the stage
Right.
musical, he's actually a priest, which makes what he does in the context of the story so much
worse. Yeah.
So much worse.
Yeah. And so, Tim, you might be able to speak into this. The character of the priest, which I don't know that we ever get a name for.
We
Maybe
Don't.
they do have an actual name for him.
They probably have an
screenplay,
actual
but
name for him in the cast.
Yeah.
Like if you watch the credits, they might have an
They
actual
probably have a
name.
name for it just to have a name. But
Or it's called like the archdeacon or the priest or
Right.
whatever.
so what was my question? Tim.
Great question.
So explain to me his role, Tim.
So, are we talking like within the church or within the story?
Both.
Okay. So within the church, he's essentially there to like head over Notre Dame Cathedral and keep it afloat spiritually and make sure that all of the people of Paris, which is where Notre Dame is located, are both abiding by the rules and laws of the church. Because like I remember we mentioned that like a lot of the things Count Frollo does against the church are straight up illegal at that time because
Right.
he's doing it against the church.
Right.
So he's kind of there as like a figurehead of the church, and within the story, he works most, I would say, as a representation of Notre Dame itself, like incarnate in person.
He's like the personification of the
Yes.
cathedral. He's the
Right.
He's the voice of it.
There to rebuke Count Frollo when Count Frollo was going off the deep end and going straight up against God.
Right.
Right. So he's kind of like the Lorax. He speaks for the cathedral.
He definitely doesn't have the facial hair.
I mean,
for it.
technically
No.
it is Disney, so.
Oh no, that's Illumination, but
Is it?
yeah.
Yes.
But anyway,
Okay.
that's off topic.
If we're talking about the worst version of the Lorax.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway.
I do like Danny DeVito voicing him, by the way. But you know, but I have something to add to that a little bit.
Go for it.
Obviously, Frollo's like narrative way is that he's the villain of the story, and he raises Quasimodo.
Right.
But there's something the Archdeacon that does or doesn't do, I should say, that kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Okay.
So while Frollo's raising Quasimodo, he's lying to him basically the entire time. He's telling Quasimodo, "Your mother was, a witch that abandoned you. I saved you. She left you for dead." What the Archdeacon doesn't do, and it kind of rubs me the wrong way, is he doesn't come up to Quas and say, "Hey, listen, Frollo's lying through his teeth.
Right.
Your mother tried to save you. She claimed sanctuary. I was the one who stopped him from ultimately killing you."
Right.
That just rubs me the wrong way.
I think, to his credit, it's probably a matter of the Archdeacon is not aware of the way Frollo was raising Quasimodo. But I will say that the Archdeacon could, if he was so invested in making sure that Frollo doesn't kill the baby version of Quasimodo, I feel he could have done a lot more. He could have invested a lot more in making sure that Quasimodo was being treated fairly.
Right.
Yeah.
And he does not, which very much reminds me of families where one parent is abusive and the other parent is aware of it and just doesn't do anything.
Ooh. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to say that the Archdeacon and Frollo are married or something, because that would be really weird.
That would be really weird.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of weird. That's just something that rubs me the wrong way, and I know I've talked with you, Tim, about it several times. It's just like he could have come up and said, "Hey, listen, I don't know how Frollo was raising you, but here's how you came to be."
He could have. Now, the one spot that I say I'll deviate a little bit is I don't know if he could actually do that, given the relationship between the judge and the priest. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he could have gone up to him and said, "Hey, I think there's a problem," but I also don't know how law in that age worked. Because I imagine if there was something against Frollo coming in and arresting people in the sanctuary, then there was something against the priest coming up and accusing or doing something against the judge.
Right.
So
Even in that era, there was still some type of separation of church and state.
right.
Right. Right.
So I just don't know what that is.
Right.
That's the only deviation I'll take there.
Right.
So, yeah.
And that makes sense. It's like, how much could he do? And
So now I might hit on a little bit of a deeper target here, or maybe might steer the course of the conversation this way. But yeah, you have Esmeralda,
Right.
the gypsy, right?
right.
And her main thing was being a gypsy, which is very prominent in the movie.
Right.
But how does Frollo handle it? Does Frollo handle it proper?
No.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I know the question is basically rhetorical, but for anyone who
Let me
hasn't
preface.
seen the movie.
Yeah, let me preface this and just say, if you are a non-believer who somehow stumbled upon this episode and have watched The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Frollo misuses the word of God.
Oh, totally.
He straight
Even raising Quasimodo,
Right.
not just in the way
Esmeralda.
he treats Esmeralda,
Right.
Yeah.
but just
But
in
he-
general, he uses the tenets of the church
and
and the Word of God
In a sinful,
in a
And-
sinful,
one of the
and
most grotesque ways.
I would take
frankly blasphemous.
right.
Yeah.
I would take
Yeah.
it even so far as
Blasphemous, heretical.
he distorts the Catholic faith, which in itself is a distortion of the the
Yeah.
true.
It's like a hyper distortion.
He's
It's a
distorting it.
distortion of a distortion.
He's distorting it to fit his whatever he wants.
Right. And what
he-
does he want? You could say it. It's fine.
He wants her sexually.
Yeah.
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 That's what it is. It's lust. It's straight up lust.
Yeah. It's
And-
the sin of lust.
He straight up refuses to admit throughout the entire movie, in the way he treats Esmeralda and
Right.
the way he treats Quasimodo,
Yep.
that he has any fault.
Mhm.
It-
It's really sad.
right.
It's sad. But you're absolutely correct. It's the sin of lust, and it's also the sin of pondering temptation.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, because he lets the temptation take a hold of him, and then they have
Right.
the whole song about it where he's like, oh, this is this gypsy, this witch,
And-
she's enticing me, blah, blah,
And
blah.
if you think about it, it's also the sin. It's actually the sin of adultery.
Well, yeah, it's the sin of adultery.
It's the sin of adultery because the Bible says if you look at a woman, if you even so much as look at a woman
Right.
with lust,
You did it.
you did it.
Yeah.
It's adultery.
Yep. No, here's the even crazier part. So in that scene where he is saying, this woman is enticing me and da 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 da, he's saying also he's making himself self-righteous before God because
Right.
he's saying it's not my fault, it's this woman.
Well, yeah, okay. To divert that to like the music. The music in this movie is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
There's only one song. Okay, there's two songs in the movie that I don't like. One is a personal preference. I just don't like the style of the song. The other one is the love song that's in the movie, and that just doesn't fit.
Okay, the whole love triangle doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. But we're not talking about that right now. But to kind of shift it to the music a little bit of the movie is we have Quasimodo's song of I just want to be a part of
Right.
civilization.
Part of that world.
Right. Except he's not 16. He's a 20-year-old grown man.
Yeah.
But he just wants to be out among the people. And then you have Frollo, who's just like, look at the way he starts it. It's Beata Maria, I am a righteous man.
Right.
So he's saying, beautiful Mary,
Right.
I know, I am righteous. I am above the normal crowds.
I think the biggest thing in that opening verse is that he says he acknowledges that there is some level of pride in him, but he
Yeah.
says he is justly proud.
Right.
It is something. It is a pride that he has earned. It's a pride that he deserves to have
Right.
because of how righteous he is.
Right.
Right.
And again, Nathan, you're gonna hate me for this. Where do we see this in the Bible? All right, the Book of Job.
I was just thinking that. That was on my mind.
If you look like towards the end of this speeches between Job and his friends,
Right.
Job is like, and I taught lessons to the kids about this, and the entire what I said is the entirety of Job's argument is, but I am innocent, in response to his friends saying you must have sinned,
Right.
and Job is saying, but I am innocent.
Right.
But towards the end of the argument, he's self-righteously saying, but I'm innocent. I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
And then he goes from that to saying, God, come down here and answer me.
Well, he does answer him.
God answers him.
Yeah.
Not
God
the way he
answers
wanted,
him.
but
This is not a position you want to be in, guys.
yeah, you don't.
God comes down
It's
and
fine to
says,
ask God questions, but not to question.
all right. And like in this last week, we finished up Job, and my position, what I said God's position was is you are not in the position
Right.
to tell me you are righteous.
Right.
You are not in that position. You are not in the proper position to accuse me of anything. Which is
None of us
right.
are.
Nobody's in
So-
a position to.
So for Frollo
Yeah.
to say, "Look at me, Mary," he's not even praying to God. He's praying to Mary.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
he
saying,
really
"Mary,
is
Mary, look at me. You know I am righteous, and this pride I have is justly earned because I am righteous. Look at me."
that's what he's trying to do.
No
The entire time, we see these red-robed individuals saying mea culpa,
Yeah.
I think.
Mea culpa.
Mea
culpa.
culpa. And
Which is
that's
Latin for my fault.
right. So it's like a subconscious that subconsciously he is aware.
He knows.
He knows. Subconsciously, at
Yeah.
the very least, he knows that he is not righteous at all.
Right.
It's really cool how the movie uses the cathedral and especially the statues in the cathedral
Right.
to represent Frollo's sense of, like, Frollo's conscience.
Right.
And that's like again personified in the Archdeacon
Right.
at the
Right.
beginning
Right.
of the movie. It just it's really cool how all of that is connected,
Yeah.
especially by the end of it, where even though Quasimodo has claimed sanctuary as he's like holding Esmeralda over his head,
Right.
Just like a Tuscan Raider.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
Tuscan Raider.
People.
No, and Frollo tries to like straight up take over the church and try to win, which is like symbolic of him trying to win out over his conscience.
Right.
And it's prove that he doesn't need it.
Right.
Yep.
Right. It's crazy. Speaking of
It's
the
a very smart movie.
it's
Yeah,
a very
it's
smart
a
movie.
very well done movie.
Speaking of the cathedral, like at the beginning, so
Yeah, I was just about to go there.
so
too.
when they introduce Frollo, they introduce him so well in the movie, because
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like total bad guy arc.
Iron Grip, much like the bells of Notre Dame,
Right.
and as he's introducing Frollo, you see this giant, massive black horse on it, a man in like mostly black robes and a black hood, in just this.
Like freaking
this-
Christopher Lee, like
This
Yeah.
Christopher
Sith
Lee,
Lord
this
style.
Christopher Lee. I'm gonna reference the meme, the like Christopher Lee's signature look of superiority.
Right.
He's just like looking down on these gypsies. He's just like, take them to the path of justice.
Right.
And then they go. The lady runs, and you just get this beautifully animated chase scene
Right.
of it's just we're like behind Frollo's shoulder for most of it, and she looks small in comparison to him on this giant horse.
Yeah.
It's beautifully amazing. And then of course we get to the mom's dead on the steps of the
Right.
cathedral,
She dies. Yep.
I
And-
felt it fault. She ran and I pursued.
and he's holding.
Whenever he says something like
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
it's
holding the
something weird.
baby over the well, and the Archdeacon comes out and says, "Stop! What are you doing?
Right.
This woman is innocent. You."
that. You have spilt
You've
blood
spilled
on the
blood.
steps of the church.
Yep.
And then one of the hardest hitting lines in the entire movie
Mm-hmm.
is the Archdeacon goes, "You can lie to yourself, you can lie to your minions, you can lie to your henchmen, but you cannot hide from the very eyes of Notre Dame." And it flashes up to the eyes, and it communicates judgment.
Right, absolutely.
Like you have so most Catholic cathedrals have like statues of the apostles
Yeah.
on their premises somewhere.
Yep.
And the way they depict Notre Dame having it is the apostles are like out in front, out in the entrance.
Yep.
And you have all the apostles looking down on him. Then it flashes to Mary holding baby Jesus, and both of them are looking down on him as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Just an utter judgment.
Including the baby.
Including the baby. It was just an utter judgment of, hey, you're doing it wrong.
Right. Which is a really powerful,
Right.
very powerful scene.
And
It's like, oh my gosh, that's why he puts Quasimodo in the bell tower.
right.
Yes.
Because the bell tower is higher than the statues. The statues can't see him.
Yep.
Right.
That just no dawned on me.
Yep.
That,
Oh my
that's
gosh,
amazing.
that's awesome.
But and then Clopin goes like, yeah, this is the only time Frollo fears for his soul.
Yeah.
This is the only time
only
it's happened.
time.
Oh, yeah.
Frollo is a fantastic villain, y'all.
Frollo is a
Frollo
fantastically
is
written.
absolutely, in my opinion, the best written Disney villain
Right.
of all time.
The best?
I think so. I'm aware
There's a
that
lot of good fun.
there
Scar
are a
is
lot of
really
ones.
good.
Scar is fantastic. Dr. What's his last?
Dr. Facilier?
Facilier. Thank you.
Thanos.
Well, he's not technically Disney.
Yeah.
He's Disney
Adjacent.
If we're including Marvel villains in here, then we got to bring up Killmonger, because Killmonger is decent enough that
He's
like
decent.
Right.
I don't know.
And of course,
I like it.
if we're bringing up Marvel, we have to bring up Loki.
Loki is one of the best characters written ever.
I
Right.
think so.
Ever.
I think so.
Because it's not just I say that. This conversation is totally deviated now. We've
yeah.
basically got it out of our system.
We're back
But-
to where I was the first time I was on the podcast.
Right.
Right? Imagine that. A bunch of
It's-
nerds get together and we talk about awesome movies.
Right.
But no,
Oh, yeah.
Loki is one of the best character arcs because in a lot of redemption stories, you see, good guy turns bad guy, and then he turns good guy for like 5 minutes and then dies, right?
Right.
Anakin Skywalker, for example.
Right.
You see most of your good guys, your bad guy redemption story arcs going that way. Loki is that's not what happens. He starts off for like the first little bit as a good guy,
Right.
but then his ego catches up to him and he almost turns into like a Satan character where he gets his own self-righteousness. He says, I am a king, and he's just trying to do his best to hurt Thor and Odin, right?
I'm burdened with glorious purpose. I'm here to conquer.
Literally, exactly, yeah. So he's the Satan character, but then he has to come back.
Including the stereotypical
Right,
horns.
he's got the horns on. But now Loki comes back, and kind of, like an Anakin Skywalker type way. But then not only that, he actually, stays alive and, like, saves not only the main timeline that we see, but then he basically goes to Idrisil and holds all of the timelines, effectively making him the most powerful character in the entire MCU.
And easily one of the most selfless characters of the MCU.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is such a
It's
cool
so
arc
interesting.
and watching him get so caught up in his own ego and his own pain from
Right.
the first Thor movie
Right.
to being able to let go of everything and do what he knows will save the people he cares about
Right.
most.
Right.
It's an incredible
And-
story arc.
And to bring it back
That's
around, this is something I think Frollo is incapable of.
Yeah, Frollo can't do it.
Because at the beginning,
I was thinking it too. Yeah.
because at the beginning of his story, he's a hero that got caught up in his ego
No,
and his
he was
pain.
a bad guy from the start.
He's in the middle of Loki's character arc. I'm already caught up in my own ego, and
I'd like to see how his growing up was. Like if he was maybe a judge's kid or something like that, and then eventually got to the point where he was so focused on becoming a judge that's all he wanted.
Like,
Or a king, or whatever, or a bishop, or
right.
Frollo
something.
definitely gets off on being in power.
Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, getting back to what you said earlier, Tim, is I don't know that I'd say he's like the best written character, but he is easily the most nuanced character. You have characters like Scar and Maleficent from the original movies, not the remakes, but from the original movie,
Right.
who get off being evil.
Right.
Yeah.
They come in and they're like, we're straight up evil. We know it. We love it.
Yep.
Get used to it. Then you have the tragic. He's more nuanced than like a tragic villain, like the one from Big Hero 6, who's like, I'm only evil. I'm only committing
I'm evil
evil
because the plot demands it.
Yeah, I'm evil because the plot demands it, or I'm evil because tragic thing X happened in my
Well,
past.
it's like in the Incredibles,
Right.
the first one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Buddy.
buddy.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah, he was a bad guy because of the good guy.
Right.
Yep.
The original Iron Man 3.
I love Iron Man 3. That's actually one of my favorite Marvel movie.
I like Iron Man 3, but I also can't get... Like, I can't ever get it out of my head that it ripped off so many plot elements from The Incredibles.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
I am too, because Incredibles is
Hey.
a good movie. If you're gonna rip off a superhero movie,
Well,
Hey guys.
that actually happened in this plot.
Yeah, hey guys. You know it's bad when the best Fantastic Four movie isn't even a Marvel-related movie at all. And not even a Fantastic Four movie.
Hey,
it's
at
The
least-
Incredibles.
fact.
Yeah. Yeah. It is kind of rough. But
But anyway,
We'll see.
we'll see. I'm excited. I'm kind of excited for Pedro Pascal to be
I
Reed
am
Richards.
I'm
curiously optimistic.
apprehensive about it.
The one I'm excited for is Joseph Quinn as Human Torch, purely because he
Okay,
actually plays guitar.
Right.
So it'd be really cool
That's
to
true.
see if they do that with the character.
Who are the rest of the characters then?
Vanessa Kirby, I think, is her name as Sue Storm,
Okay.
and I probably I can't remember the whole thing, but the guy that's playing Thing is like Ebon Moss something or other,
Okay.
and I probably butchered the pronunciation
That's
of his first
fine.
name.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah. So getting back on topic. So Frollo is almost we are so good at being on topic.
Oh yeah, I'm fully
we
anticipating.
are absolute professionals at being on topic.
Yeah, that's
So-
sure.
So
I can't even joke about it.
So yeah, so we've discussed Frollo a bit. We've discussed the Deacon. Let's get to. Okay, I want to save Quasimodo for last because
I think, yeah.
Quasimodo is the main
Let's-
character, but I want to save him for last. But let's get to Esmeralda and Phoebus. Just kind of
Yeah.
tackle those two
That's
together.
Yeah, I say do them both.
Do them both. Phoebus.
Good old Phoebus.
Phoebus feels like a
Klein.
yeah. Kevin Kline is an amazing.
Kevin Kline.
Phoebus feels like a side character that became a main character later on,
Yeah,
but
I feel that.
Definitely the funniest part of the movie.
yeah, definitely.
Oh, hilarious! Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Careful, we're at a church.
Careful, we were in a church.
Yeah, didn't know you had a kid. Yeah, he's not fond of strangers, but I like Phoebus's arc of he goes from this prideful, look at me, I'm like the best soldier, to
I screwed up.
I screwed up.
Mhm.
I was just following orders, and now I know the orders are wrong.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's the definition of, that one verse that says, "Shall we obey man over God?"
Right.
That's paraphrased, by the way. That's not right.
Oh, I understand.
Major
But-
paraphrase, and definitely,
I'm okay with it.
yeah.
Right.
I don't feel like in his mind it's a question of obeying man or obeying God, but
Right.
I feel like he's deferring to his own conscience
Right.
and acknowledging that Frollo is an absolute madman and he should not be following this guy's
Right.
orders
Yeah.
because he is doing a lot of very incredibly unethical things.
Right,
Unethical,
right.
and there's most of those things are incredibly illegal as well.
Yep,
Yes.
yep, exactly.
You're right. But anyway,
Good old lawful good.
right. Lawful neutral.
Lawful, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, more lawful neutral. Because lawful good would be I'm following the law.
Right,
Yeah, no,
right.
that's fair.
I'm following the letter of the law.
Yeah.
So, anyway. And then you have Esmeralda, who's just like, this is straight up wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and the reason she's able to acknowledge just how wrong it is because she's one of the people being wronged. Because
Yes.
a huge... Nathan touched on it a little bit, but Esmeralda is a gypsy.
Yes.
And Frollo, among all of the other things, frankly, is kind of racist.
Yeah.
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 And he has an extreme hatred for gypsies. And, like,
Yeah.
part of the reason he's, like, hunting down Quasimodo's mom at the beginning of the movie is because he's trying to eliminate the gypsies from Paris.
Yeah.
Right. So, in essence, he's trying to commit genocide on one race of people.
Yeah. Because
You know,
they look different. From
It kind of sounds like a character from real life, maybe.
just a little less gaseous.
Stop it. Stop it. That was out of pocket. Did you see what Zach started to do?
Yeah,
He
it's just like-
started raising his hand. I'm not getting banned off of
The
YouTube.
great dictator.
That's why I was doing it slowly.
Great in
One, that's why you're doing
a
it slowly.
power
Two, that's why
way,
you're doing
not
it with
in
the wrong hand.
not in a
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. We're good. We're clear. We're not
Different
demonetized.
Monetization shall
Avoided.
not prevail today.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
man.
anyway. Yeah. But, well, a difference between said character from real life and said character
You
in
can say
fiction.
Hitler. Hitler's okay.
Oh, I
You
thought it
can
meant,
say the word Hitler.
I thought we were treating him like Voldemort. Just like we can't,
Oh,
we
no,
can't say his
he's-
name.
He's almost
He who's-
Voldemort.
He whose name we cannot say due to copyright infringement.
There we go.
Moldywort. There we go.
Voldemort.
Anyway.
Voldemort.
Voldemort.
Is that like great value? Is that Walmart brand?
It's a.
No, it's like the members mark.
It's from a duet I did in high school.
What?
So it's called Gary Trotter and He Whose Name We Cannot Say Due to Copyright Infringement. I'll find it and show you guys.
Oh man. Anyway.
Anyway.
Actually, I don't think copyright infringement extends to titles. I think we're okay.
Right, I think
Yeah,
we'll
we're
be fine.
we're fine. It's
We're
just
fine.
it's just a joke.
Right.
that
No,
jumped
I
in my
got you.
head.
I got you.
But anyway, yeah. So a contrast between Hitler and Frollo is doing it almost purely because of religious reasons. Well, religion is a bigger part of it. I'll say that.
Really? Yeah, that's a big part of it. But the other part of it is himself again.
Again, it's
You know,
himself.
it's a mixture. But that was the same thing with other characters in history, not just Hitler.
Right.
It's the same exact thing. You know, Hitler was against the Jews because of reasons, and he had a very strong conviction against that, right? And so
Right.
that's why he started going after him.
Right.
But it's the same thing with many, many other world leaders. The United States during World War II, what did we do to the Japanese?
We did the same thing.
We did, well, not quite.
Not quite.
Not nearly, no. We
we
did not nearly do the same thing, but we did not treat them right.
We did not treat them
We
right.
put them in the jail cells there, and,
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. It was not the right thing to do, but...
But yeah, it's just...
It's a part of history we should learn from.
Right.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Right. And this is a fictional character that we can learn from. Because I touched on it before. Frollo's entire worldview is a distortion of a distortion. Kind of warping what's already warped.
Right.
He is using he's using religion. He's using the name of God in absolutely the wrong way.
Yeah, yeah.
Because let's get to the other song I don't like besides the love song.
God save the outcast.
God help the outcast.
The outcast, yeah.
And during the movie, we were all like, "Excuse me, that was kind of the point." Because during Jesus's entire earthly ministry, where did he go? To the religious leaders? No.
Nope.
To the political leaders? No.
No.
He was
He
with.
went to the sinners and tax collectors.
He went
Yep.
to the outcasts.
I talked with a friend a couple of years ago. While we were remodeling someone's house, and he mentioned something that I frankly think is pretty accurate. If Jesus came today, he would have ended up hanging out with like strippers and prostitutes,
Right.
because that's
Yeah?
one of
Okay.
it's
So-
not something that you necessarily think of all the time, but that's one of the closest groups we have to the type of people he interacted with in his time.
Right.
Right.
That, and frankly, probably homeless people.
Yeah.
Right.
Not that being
Yeah.
homeless is a sin.
It's not a bad
sin,
thing.
but
but-
he helped the beggars.
Yeah.
But you remind me of something.
I'm
A while
good at
back-
reminding people of things.
A while back, I watched this video of. So it's this pastor who's telling the story of someone witnessing to a guy. And the guy goes, "Do I have to give up pot to see Jesus?" And Nathan knows the illustration I'm moving
right,
towards
right.
because I used it
Boy.
before. So do I have to give up, smoking weed to come to Jesus? But the guy goes, "No."
Technically, no.
The guy doesn't. The guy gets confused. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. Pulls out a big fat blunt. Says, "Do I have to give up smoking this to come to Jesus?" And the guy goes, "No." And he's just like, "You don't. I'm not understanding." And he's like, "No, you don't understand. You have to get cleaned up before you go take a shower." And the guy goes, "No."
Right.
So it's the same thing it's the same principle with Jesus. If you can come to Jesus as you are, and if there are problems if there are things in your life that you consider sin, you and Jesus will figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
You don't have to get rid of it before you come to him.
You don't have to get rid of it before you come to him. However, if you feel it's a sin after you come to him, then you're like, okay,
Right.
I'm stopping pot.
Right.
And I use that. That's again something I use with the teens. And the way I put it is like, do you have to take a bath to take a shower? No.
No, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. While they're different methods, they both get you clean.
Right.
So you don't have to do one method to get
to get the other.
get the other.
Yeah.
Unless there's something dirty in the water, then you might want to.
Well, that's different.
That's
yeah.
something
Yeah.
else. That's Flint, Michigan type of.
Right.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, and that's what Frodo doesn't understand is God is coming to the outcast, to the person on the fringes of society, extending his hand, saying, "Here, let me help you."
Right. Right.
And that's what we should be doing as Christians.
Right.
If you are on the fringes of society, you are a homeless person, you are a stripper, come with me, and I will get you out of this life.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there's one more person we have to talk about in context of the story of the movie, and that's Quasimodo himself.
The main character.
The
the
number one
titular
guy.
Hunchback.
Who happens to live in Notre Dame.
Yes.
Notre Dame.
So, we talked about this during the movie. Do you guys think that the gargoyles are an extension of Quasimodo's damaged psyche, or is it, or are you going to attribute it to Disney magic? You know, it's just like, okay, this is Disney, or this is my theory. This is my personal theory. Are the gargoyles some kind of guardian angel sent to help Quasimodo?
So I kind of think that it's a part of his imagination.
Right.
And he's just carrying him around and everything because he's a strong dude.
Right.
He's been moving them
Quasimodo
bells.
was built.
Yeah.
Right.
That dude is, he's like a Samson character, you know.
Right.
But I think it's a part of his imagination. Yeah.
I think the movie does I think the movie does a really good job of like trying to show you that it's in his imagination. My
Right.
biggest, and then during the final fight, you see one of them like grab a rock and like grind it up in their mouth and like shoot it out like a machine gun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how in the world does that happen if
It
it's in
doesn't.
Quasimodo's imagination? That's my. that's the one. I feel like, other than that, if that scene wasn't there, I feel like I would wholeheartedly believe that it's in his imagination.
Right. And that's why I came up with that theory, the theory of these are either one. There's two particular explanations. One, this is Quasimodo. These are Quasimodo's guardian angels that God has, within the context of the movie, God has sent down to help Quasimodo through this difficult time in his life.
Right.
And obviously, in the second movie, you see them continue to be around and help him.
Right.
But the other option is, it is in Quasimodo's imagination until Frollo starts attacking the church, in which God is like, "You are now attacking my church. I am going to defend it," and he brings these out of Quasimodo's imagination into real life
Well,
and
you
says,
kind
"Hey."
of see that with Frollo, right? When
Right.
he
Yeah.
falls, the gargoyle turns alive,
Right.
and then he sees it, and he goes, "Wait, what?"
And even throughout the rest of the movie, again, we've talked about like how it feels like the church is watching him
Right.
through the statues, and it's like, it's as if God Himself is like imbued within the church in some way.
Right.
Yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna go into the transition of the outro here.
Well, So, final thoughts. The Hunchback of Notre Dame is one of the best movies Disney ever made. It's
it's one of the best animated.
right.
Yeah.
There are several times during our watching of it that these guys can attest to that I was yelling, "They are freaking showing off, and they know it.
Oh, they were definitely
They
showing
are
off.
showing off."
Yeah.
We didn't even get to touch on the animation too much, but
Right.
I want to.
The animation
For
is
my
awesome.
final thoughts, I just want to mention the animation is flawless. Not literally, but
It is very good.
It's close.
it
As
is
close to.
as close
Yeah.
to flawless as you can get. The lighting is fantastic. There's scenes transitioning from 2D to 3D planes and messing around with that.
Right.
It's just
This is a movie made in '96, right?
90s.
I think it was '96.
Hold on.
Late 90s.
Let me use the
Mid to
good
late
old.
90s.
Through the interwebs.
See, I can't use the interwebs right now because my computer is encoding and my phone is
1996.
streaming. I was right.
Yeah.
1996.
And Zach, when were you born?
97. This is a year
Okay, so
older
it's
than-
older than you.
It's older than me.
Well, technically, it's probably about the same actually because you were a fetus. So
Roughly.
Definitely older than me.
it's older than me by a few years. I was born in '99.
I was born in 2004.
Oh,
Wow.
then we have kids who are like born in like 2010.
You know what's funny? Yeah, we do.
Man.
But the crazy thing is that in the youth group, like, some of these kids were born in the 2010s, but I'm like, look, I could have grown up with a good chunk of these people.
There's one or two that I'm like, okay, it's a stretch.
Well,
I could have, but it's a stretch.
thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Adios.
Subscribe.
Again,
Yeah.
Patreon,
Patreon,
Spotify,